All right, down on dirty ground school for down on dirty ground school for Winch. This looks like a mess, but it's not. I'm going to walk you through it. It'll make more sense. I'm going to go up here. There's our runway. There's our winch. There's our fancy glider. All right, so the first thing we want to realize is when this glider launches, no matter where it gets inside this curve, it's got to land back on this field one way or another. That's the safest part about a winch. So if we take stopping distance of, say, a couple hundred feet, depending on the skill of the pilot, and then we recognize that a sailplane has roughly a 20-to-1 and a 5-to-1 glide ratio. 5-to-1 is going to put it about 12 degrees out here. 20-to-1 is going to put it about 3 degrees down here. Anywhere in that cone, this glider can land straight ahead, touch down, and stop before the end of the runway. Beautiful thing. So anytime I'm in the launch cone here, I can land straight ahead. Once I climb, and there's not enough room on this chart, but it's going to come through here like this. And this is going to get off the chart, right? So anytime I'm above this line, I can no longer land straight ahead. So what you're going to do is, from a top view, from the glider starting here, anywhere between here and this mark, which is about 500-600 feet, 700 feet from the end of the runway, on this side, you'll be about 200 or 300 feet or so here, and that's where the intersection, depending on the length of this runway, this 5-to-1 line and this 20-to-1 line will be a function of the distance here. So once you're above this line, you no longer can land straight ahead. So what you're going to end up doing is you're going to be about here somewhere, or in advance. The critical point would be just above this line, because if you're just above here, you have to turn. So you're going to have to fly straight ahead and then turn around, and you want to marriage yourself back into a slope as if this is now the end of the runway. That's my stopping distance with the tailwind. Let's make it a little longer. Right? And now I'm going to run my 12-degree angle and my 20-degree angle. And that's why it becomes a mess, right? But if you draw it, if I show it to you while you're drawing it, you can kind of see it. So now I'm at 20-to-1 and 5-to-1 this way. So all I'm going to do is fly my sailplane anywhere above here until I can get into that cone so I can come back and land. So what it looks like from the top down is you're going to do a teardrop. You're going to kind of come out here and treat it like it's a rope break. This teardrop will change its shape associated with how high you are and where you are on the runway. That's why it's so critical to recognize the longer runway, the bigger opportunity you have, the higher you'll be with more in front of you, and the more space you have to perform this. But no matter what, you'll end up landing back on the runway. Now, a couple axioms, right? We'll go into the launch process, but let's just do the axiom first. So the idea of a pattern and approach for a sailplane, standard pattern and approach, downwind, base, final, is you want to maintain control of the aircraft so that you reduce the risk of stall for wind shear and turbulence and other things. So historically, the pattern speed is designed by the aircraft manufacturer. If they don't have one, the general rule of thumb is 1.4 times the stall speed. Right? So if you're in the pattern, you're supposed to be flying pattern speed. Same thing with this launch. During the launch, your best speed to give you time to climb is about 1.4 times the stall. It's a safety range. Yes, if you went slower, you'd have more time to climb and you could get higher. But then you're violating this concept of below pattern altitude, fly pattern speed. If you go to the maximum winch speed, it's not going to get you the maximum height. You're going to be sucking in the rope faster than you can get up and climb. So you're burning runway. So the idea is if we use 1.4, it's going to be a comfortable climb. And below pattern altitude, anytime you're in this phase, fly pattern speed or better, right? And the idea of or better, you can go as high as you want. You can come cruising out here at 60, 70, whatever you want to do, make your turn, and then slow your aircraft down and go back to pattern speed and land. So the idea here is the thing you want to do is get to the perimeter of the field. Right? Here's my approach. Right? Imagine if I was coming in this way. Imagine if I was coming in this way or this way. Pretty much the pattern is the perimeter of the field, regardless of how you want to put it in. And at the same time, if you're here, let's use this one. I can turn in here, I can turn in here, I can come out down here and come back around. You want to try to avoid the button hook and aim more for the teardrop. However, your pilot command, you get to decide what you want to do. Right, so fly the perimeter until you're high enough and far enough away or where you need to be to make your teardrop approach. Below pattern altitude, below 1,000 feet, fly pattern speed or more. After every release or rope break, we always say think with the stick forward because you have a very high angle of attack. You're almost at 30 degrees or so. It's above stalling speed. So as soon as that rope energy leaves the sailplane, you have a little bit of momentum that'll carry you forward, but you're in a stalled state. You have no more thrust. Therefore, you have to stick the stick forward and wait, and literally wait. It takes a couple seconds. That's a real long couple seconds when you're in the airplane. So you got to wait until the aircraft goes back to an attitude of flying. And the reason we say think with the stick forward is by pushing the stick forward, you can then wait, look at the airspeed indicator, confirm that you have airspeed. That's by sound, that's by attitude, and that's by airspeed. Just because you rotated the aircraft does not mean you're flying. And that's the mistake that the experienced pilots make. They're so quick in the head that they push the stick forward. They know where they want to go. They know they want to do this. And they start to try to do it before they have flying speed. That's the risk. On a rookie side, they think with the stick forward and they burn tons of altitude as they're blowing themselves across this, burning this altitude, and they blow all this distance underneath them. They waste it before they come back around because they take too long to make the decision. So it's that window of opportunity that'll make this a much more comfortable flight. That's it. Winch launch it, 101.